This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 828 for the week of Monday, July 29th, 2024. My name is Steven, and if you're hearing my voice and thinking it is time for the SGS, you would be wrong, of course. I don't know why you would think that. No, I'm just starting because Zach has gone back onto paternity leave where he should have been this whole time. And Steve is out late recording with Sungwon on his Pro ZD Plays Games.
Steve just hates us, that's why.
Yeah. Why is it not SGS? Well, so there's a bit of a tricky scheduling thing here, which is that there's no One Piece this week, of course. Next week it will be back, but it is also the summertime double issue for Shonen Jump, which means that in 2 weeks we will not have any Shonen Jump. So the tentative plan for now, schedule willing, is that Greg and I will be doing our usual SGS in 2 weeks instead. So what are we doing today? We are going to be doing a manga recap of volume 109 with all of the author comments and SBS, the silly questions and answers and stuff that we go through for every volume. Some people call this Steven's Story Time, and those people are collectively known as Team Dark. That is storyboard artist Josh McKenzie.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. How are we doing tonight?
Doing good. It is also OPP financial analyst Brodsky.
Ayo.
And let's see, veteran cross-country traveler Vero.
Yeah. I don't want to get on another plane for a very long time. Hi.
Hi.
Jet setting around.
Yeah. I know some other members of the podcast had some fun travel times too. So not a good time to be getting on a plane.
I lucked out by not actually having to be at the airport when any of the disasters were happening. So
I was thinking
okay.
about you when that was happening because I knew you were like around the time to travel back.
Yeah.
But also, I am glad to hear we're batting his hand away for a little bit so he can go back to being a
He's
dad.
got to hang out with that baby.
Zach, why don't you go parent something?
But he wants to parent us.
We need it. I'm so sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
We'll get through it. I think Sam actually got the brunt of the travel woes. He was really stuck on the day. I believe, speaking of Sam, he should be he said he would be recording an anime recap, so we should have that as well for you this week. In terms of news, I have a few notes here. Not a ton, but we did have, I think the big news is apparently that the Vegapunk English dub actor is going to be Kent Williams. I kind of wish that we had Steve on at this moment because he would probably know the significance of that. I am not as up on my voice actors.
Hey, Steve, if you know anything about this, say something.
The
Sorry,
silence
folks.
speaks volumes.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, folks.
Yeah.
He's not as knowledgeable as you thought. Yeah.
No. Yeah, he's a hack, actually.
Yeah. It's never had One Piece in his
But given the ridiculous voices that we have come up for him, I'm really curious to find out what that's going to be like in the dub.
Are we just getting an Einstein impression? Like, what do we get?
I mean, I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, like, of all the predictable things we could do, like, it seems so right.
It's silly German
Yes.
man.
But I'm curious what the Japanese will sound like, I think, over. Actually, I have to listen.
Yeah. I don't remember what his what the original actor is like. It was also this weekend was San Diego Comic-Con, which is my home con. Unfortunately, I'll go on a little rant here. I did not for the first time in years I was not inside the convention center due to a mix up with the way that they renew your professional status, which is like every time, it's like every couple of years you have to send them some recent credit to continue to be, on that inside track to get the professional badges. And they usually send you an email that says, hey, you're due, like you have to send in some stuff. And they didn't send me one this year. I don't know why. And so basically, I was just kind of sitting around like, oh gosh, I wonder, it's getting pretty close to Comic-Con. Like, I wonder when they're going to send me like a question, like are you interested in a professional badge? And they just didn't. So I completely missed the window. So instead we went to we did the outside the con experience, which is just walking around the convention center where there is like at least as much to do as inside, with all of the like outdoor attractions and things. So my wife and I went down there yesterday, and it turned out that was also the same day that they were having the One Piece Symphonic Voyage at the Rady Shell outside of the convention center, but it was only for badge holders. So
what if you just did the Taylor Swift and stood outside of the barrier?
We could have. I mean, yeah, it's just an outdoor, stage basically with a shell. It's like the what is it? The Sydney Opera House looking thing that just goes over the top. But it was also I think it was at like 7 p.m. or something like that. And we were walking around in the sun for, several hours. And so we were like, yeah, I think it's time to go and get dinner. So, I was not there for that, which would have been cool to see. I probably would have done that if I had my badge, but,
but I'm
did
glad
you
you
meet
guys got to
Batman?
enjoy it.
I didn't. Well, I saw lots of Batman on the on the walkways and such. But
it got to be more specific, Josh. Yeah, I feel like
okay.
Yeah, which Batman?
Did you?
a lot of.
Did you?
Robert Pattinson?
I don't know enough. No, I just meant like a.
I think I would have led with that.
Did you meet regular Batman? I don't know all the different Batmen.
Batman. There were many Batman.
The guy with the cape, Steven, did you meet him?
Yeah.
Come on, you know Batman.
Josh, you specifically showed me Batman this weekend who did not have a cape, so I feel like I'm being gaslit.
Yeah, well, I would have said Terry McGinnis if I meant Terry McGinnis, but I didn't mean that.
My mistake.
And we have one last piece of One Piece news. Which is that if you remember, in fact, it is in this volume. If you remember that illustration, the chapter illustration of the cover of Robin coordinating a crocodile, and he had they called it Lacosta shirt on, obviously a reference to Lacoste, and everybody said, "Wow, wouldn't it be funny if like they just did a collaboration like that?" And that's exactly what happened. So
What a collab.
Slay.
yeah.
I will accept it. I don't know if a picture's been revealed. Does the alligator actually does he have a banana on his head? Because that's a missed opportunity.
No, I don't think it was I don't think it was one of the banana wani banana dial style ones. They just did. Yeah, I saw. If you can find the tweet, which I believe the podcast retweeted. They do have pictures of the merchandise on their website, and it's been so like so the illustration is the crocodile, and he's got the surfboard and the neckerchief and stuff, and he's wearing the shirt with like Oda's little like silhouette crocodile logo on it that looks like the Lacoste logo, and so it's basically like shirts that have Lacoste with Oda's Oda's silhouette, his crocodile silhouette.
Okay, these are kind of cute, but I was like, maybe I'll get one. And then I'm like, $140.
I was gonna say Lacoste is expensive.
Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll look at them from afar.
And I think they have some caps that have the logo on it as well. And then there were some like there's some other shirts and like sweatshirts that where they just took the whole illustration and they just plastered it like in the middle of a plain white or black shirt. So
I'm sorry, that is a $91 t-shirt.
Drop the pic, Brodsky.
I am.
Yeah. So there's cash out there ready to be grabbed, and grab they are.
That's not worth $91.
Oh, it's kind of a slay. I kind of want it.
We can
Like, here's the thing. It's a
not
slay.
to-
I want it. I might bootleg it. No, you
I was
don't
gonna
do
say
that?
we could screen print that. Josh, we can have a screen printing day and make that ourselves.
Or
Why
anyone,
is it just a block on that hoodie? How dare they?
For anyone listening, if I said I'm going to bootleg it, this is for cosplay purposes.
Yeah,
In
listen,
Minecraft, you're gonna bootleg it. Yeah.
Yeah.
you wouldn't download a T-shirt.
I mean, if we tweet that underneath the image, it'll give us a t-shirt.
I
love this Chad
Steve
Gator.
the
I can't get
hat.
over him.
He's really great.
The stupid like baseball hat. I do
Mhm.
want that for him.
For a low price of $77, it's yours.
That's so ridiculous. Get some socks.
For $22.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. So, yeah.
It's time to get back into DIY.
Yeah. I mean, like the plain Lacoste shirt that just has, you could just get a regular Lacoste. I mean, a plain Lacoste shirt has to be cheaper than $91, right? That just has the crocodile on it.
I'm checking.
And then you could screen print the Oda stuff on top
exactly.
so get the same thing for $30 or whatever.
I'm sorry, it looks very silly with like the Lacoste logo and then the One Piece Lacoste logo that looks ridiculous, having two tiny alligators in the top right portion.
It's fitting because many characters in One Piece have just ridiculous fashion.
Is it a sleigh? I don't know.
Sometimes Oda can slay, and other times it's like, what happened here?
When I said it's a sleigh, I meant like the graphic itself is a sleigh.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
presentation is somewhat lacking.
Yeah.
Dear audience, give us your opinion. Is this a vibe? I don't know.
Yeah. Are you rocking with
Yeah,
it?
is it giving?
Is it giving?
All right. I think that's enough
Yeah, it's our intro.
discussion.
Let's look
We've
at like a
filled out our
story
time.
hour.
Yeah, let's get into we'll get into the manga recap, and then as I said, I do believe Sam is hoping to have an anime recap for this week's episode as well. We'll probably skip Piece Together since I don't think we have anything specific without a new chapter, and then we'll round it off. So let's get into volume 109. This is the manga recap for volume 109, and this one is titled On Your Side, which I believe is, which chapter was that? That was in the middle, so it's not in the flashback. It is it is literally the chapter with the Robin and the crocodile. So we're not going to get away from this, folks.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, which one? What was the quote from?
Can't escape.
Yeah, that was the one where Bonnie sees Gear 5 Luffy for the first time, and her mind is blown. But yeah, on the cover we have a really adorable. I mean, I think they're supposed to be doing the Gear 5 dance, but they just all look like they're skanking.
They do. They do.
Yeah, it's everybody from Kuma's flashback, pretty much. Santomaru, Kizaru, Vegapunk, Stussy is there, and a Gear 5 Luffy. And then kind of front and center is a very adorable Bonnie hugging on a very Buddha-like smiling Kuma, which is just heartwarming.
I won't be able to look at this without thinking of skanking anymore. That's it.
Yep, sorry.
That's what they're actually doing.
I just like that Stussy's not participating. She appears to be photobombing the rest of them.
Yeah.
She's like this.
She's mogging them.
Yeah, this.
That's-
Yeah, this is beneath her.
She's like, I can't associate with these people.
Arms folded. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I really like it. The pastel background, I think, is very sweet. Like it, I don't know if it really like meshes that much with like the character art. Like Kuma has this very green shirt on, but it does kind of set a sort of emotional tone for the message of this film.
I feel like the last few volumes have been very like pastel colored, like very light colored.
Mhm.
And like this one again falls in that same vein, but I kind of feel like it works with this one more than it did some of the others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like he's setting us up because I feel like he has to do like the gross monster elders in the next cover. But we'll see.
Yeah, and they've got like a very coquette color palette. I think that'd be cute. Lots of lots of lavenders and mauves. That'll be nice.
Yeah. It's just reminding me of that. Somebody did some fan art recently of like York as she was like the heroine from the visual novel where she's the only like she's a celestial dragon now, and all of the five elders are drawn like these very cutesy like old yaoi men.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love our old yaoi men, and this. I need to see this art. If you find it again, please send it my way.
It's amazing. But on the inside of the cover, now if you thought the illustration looked a little imbalanced with just Bonnie hugging on one side of Kuma's neck, have no fear. Oda's got you, because now there's a little panda man who has the same proportions as Bonnie, and he is hugging on the other side of Kuma's neck.
I'm not gonna lie, I think this is my favorite Panda Man insertion because it's not replacing anyone. It's not doing anything. It's adding to the it. It was.
I was really expecting it to be Bonnie.
Yeah, he's really balancing out the full illustration. I think Oda drew this one with Panda Man in mind, and like that's the actual cover.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah,
I just like that he's shirtless while doing it. I think that's really great.
Okay, Josh.
I think if you're going to hug somebody by their jaw, you might as well not be wearing a shirt.
Especially if it's Kuma. I mean, he could get it.
That's Josh's fantasy. That's your fantasy, I guess,
That's not
Brodsky.
true. Kuma's not even in the top 10. I don't see
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's too nice. You know what I mean? He's too kind.
No.
Me and Josh love the nasty man. He's too sweet.
I'm reformed from all that.
Okay.
All right. I guess.
Anyway, for the
Moving
rest
on.
of the image.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then we have Oda's comment on the inside flap. This is a fun one, and you'll see here in the author comment. But we have Luffy, and he is a pristine little boy here. He's got a jacket and a bow tie on, along with his shorts, and you can see under the straw hat he has like a 7/3 part on his hair, like his hair is all slicked back, and he's also wearing a pair of glasses, and he's got a lot of sparkles and Photoshop effects on him, and he is saying, "My favorite thing to eat is soap." Now, this will make sense.
He looks like he's ready for Team America at the Olympics. Like he's in uniform.
I need the context.
Yes. All right. So here's the context. So Oda starts off with, "All right, everyone, we're about to start a now I'm gonna explain this in a second, but so what he says is literally, we're about to start the white society where everyone is clean and pristine." Now, in Japanese, the word whito, so it's not Japanese for white or black. It's whito or buraku are often used in referring to companies for like how ethical they are to work for. So especially a buraku company is like a place that is going to you're going to be constantly doing overtime. They probably won't pay you. And they're the bad bosses that abuse their workers and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's the context for that. In this case, he's talking about society. So the white society, where only the clean will survive. And so he says, the truth is Luffy brushes his teeth 30 times a day and he bathes 6 times. He also changes outfits 14 times in a day. The worst insult he will ever say is, "You dumb dumb, Obaka-san." and his catchphrase is, so instead of I'm going to be the king of the pirates, his catchphrase is, I'm going to go to sleep in a clean room or in an antibacterial room.
So true, girly.
Me too, bestie.
And his special technique is gum gum handshake in parentheses disinfected. So there you go. And then I hope you will continue to patronize One Piece. Here we go with volume 109. So yeah, there's your clean Luffy up at the top with his favorite food is soap.
That's just me during the pandemic, literally.
Pristine Luffy isn't real and can't hurt us.
My therapist said pristine Luffy is not real and it can't hurt us. Pristine Luffy in the corner, holding the bottle of hand sanitizer.
Yeah, and our cover page on the inside, the title page for One Piece is a POV. Gear 5 Luffy is going to pound you. Please do not Google search that.
We didn't say it. Keep going.
Yeah.
I think we just have our episode title.
Write that down. Steve, we have something for you to draw later.
Yeah. All right. So this volume, not a super thick volume. It is 10 chapters from 1101 to 1110, and that is pretty much the kind of the last few chapters of Bonnie's flashback, and it ends with the chapter where when we get the crazy double page spread of all the five elders in their monster form. And ends with the giants cutting the sandworm tries to swallow Luffy, and then they cut him free from its throat. And we will go to our first SBS segment here. I love this one. They did they do the joke in the header illustration. So it's done like a manga panel, and they drew Oda in his fish head form, which is the only form that he should ever be seen in. And he's like celebrating. He's like, yes, I'm going to say it. Let the SBS be. And then before he can finish, Kuma's hand goes in and pop, he just disappears.
Rest in bits.
And so Oda's comment, so he does a little sound effect like, phoo. And he's like, okay, so I'm currently flying over the ocean. And there was a large man who just asked where I would go if I wanted to go on vacation. And I told him, oh, yeah, I would love to see the aurora over the South Pole. And oh, no. And then he just kind of trails off. So he's en route to the South Pole. The first question from the readers is about Top Man Workery, the elder with the one we called Gorbachev because he has the blotch on his forehead and the giant mustache. And it says, so Saint Topman Workery, is it true that his mustache is actually a boomerang? And Oda's comment is like, boom! Oh, whoa, it's cold here. Whoa, where am I? So that's his answer. The next question.
His silence speaks volumes on this issue.
Yeah.
The next question. What would happen if the top of Vegapunk's head was a banana instead of an apple? We have a little picture of, Vegapunk with his apple head. And Oda's answer is like, oh, it's the aurora. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so cold. I'm dying. I'm literally dying. And he's shivering. And the next,
so he's just committing to the bit in this whole page. Okay.
Yes. And then the next reader question is SBS. That segment never existed in the first place. And we see the panel of the Lelucia getting fried off the map by all the lasers from the sky. and it's basically mimicking Emu's phrase there. And then Oda says, "What? Wait! Oh, the sky! No! Ah!" And then there's just a bunch of sound effects of like boom, 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 boom. So apparently the South Pole has just gotten eradicated.
That's where all the ocean's rising levels are coming from.
It's all Oda's fault.
And the last reader question here is: Can Edison be plugged into a wall socket? And Oda's response is like, "I don't know. I don't care." He's like, "God, you people, like the author has literally been sent to the South Pole and is getting attacked from the sky, and you're just peppering me with these questions? Like, aren't you worried about me? Plugs, bananas, boomerangs." And I'll steal a quote from Harrison Ford. Like, "I don't give a shit." Like, he's just like, "What are you talking about?" So yeah, that was a really funny bit. I thought that was a really funny.
I actually do need an answer on the Edison one, though. I do want to know if we can plug him in.
Yeah. Well,
we'll ask it again.
Yeah. It is.
We'll come back to that question. We'll bring it back up. Time to submit our versions of the SBS.
His silence is incriminating.
I love this one because it feels like how like a good teacher, a good like performer or whatever talks to a child when they're like asking ridiculous questions. Like, you know how Disney princess performers at like home parties will get asked like, "Why are you not like, why can't you show me your ice powers?" And you just have to say like insane shit back to them because like 5-year-olds are crazy. Yeah. This is what it feels like. Or like when kids just keep asking questions. He's like, "I don't care about his boomerang mustache.
Yeah.
I'm in the North Pole."
He's like, "This is a good sacrificial question for my stupid bit that I'm going to do here."
He's like, "I don't feel like answering this one, so we'll take."
Okay, our next SBS here, our header is looks like a little sort of diorama of sorts, where there's a Nami posing on a chest of treasure. I think that's supposed to be a statue.
Is that what her statue looks like?
It could be in Japan. Yeah, and there's like a clothesline that is hanging the original Nami shirt, the blue and white striped one with the S, and then her post time skip green bra and the lion sunflower apron, and that's supposed to be the S. And that one comes in from 420 Land from Hong Kong, Oomphy of the podcast on Twitter. So shout outs to them again.
It's very creative. I like that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice. And our question here now we're getting into some informative stuff. And this is specifically about the Empresses of Amazon Lily. So the question is, in Amazon Lily, Grandma Nyan said that the Empress 2 generations ago had died of love sickness, but isn't Shakuyaku, aka Shaki, the Empress from 2 generations ago? Why did Grandma Nyan lie?
Yes.
And Oda's like, okay, so this is actually, he doesn't literally say this, but he's like, okay, this is a reading comprehension issue. So it wasn't
skill issue. Get owned.
The media literacy is in the ground, Oda says.
Oda's just like, did you even read my manga?
He says she wasn't lying when she said that the Empress from 2 generations ago was the same. It was about the love sickness part of it. So basically, the Empresses and Warriors of Amazon Lily have long been, catching this illness and without understanding why and dying of it. And it wasn't until recent generations when Grandma Nyan went out of the country, and she went abroad. She did a summer in Europe, and that was how she escaped death, and that's how they've learned to adapt to this love sickness thing. And so he shows us the the timeline here of the empresses, which this is useful because I was not super clear on what was going on here. So Gloriosa, who is also known as Grand Magnon, she was the empress 3 generations ago, and she escaped and came back later. Then the empress 2 generations ago is Shakuyaku, aka Shaki. Obviously, she's over at Sabaudi. The previous empress before Boa Hancock, we've not seen this before. She did perish of love sickness, and her name is Tritoma, which is a flower. What do they call it? There's some other very descriptive name. It's like the devil's poker or something like that. It's apparently they in the real world they only grow in Africa, but they have like very bright red tips, very striking looking, and she is a babe. Like I love this design.
It's so cute.
Yeah, she's eating for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Why has Oda been hiding her from us?
Because she dead.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, the present Empress of Amazon Lily is Hancock, who is currently pining for her crush. So, yeah, he also gives us a little time lapse or timeline of kind of the order of events, specifically with Boa. So the Hancock sisters start off as slaves, and then Fisher Tiger freed the slaves. Gloriosa heard about all of the commotion with the freed slaves, and she went and took the sisters under her protection and took them to the Sabaudi archipelago where Shaki was. So Shaki sheltered them for a time, and then eventually Gloriosa and the 3 sisters went to Amazon Lily. So that was the order of events for how they made it out, and that's how they're all connected. So yeah, interesting stuff. And then to follow that up, in chapter 1026, we do see Grand Magnon, Gloriosa in the flashback. This was at the very start of Kuma's flashback when we see the people landing on God Valley. We see Gloriosa as part of the Rocks Pirates. Does that mean that her love sickness revolved around someone in the Rocks Pirates? Ooh. And Oda says, well, if you were to assume that the way to suppress the effects of the love sickness are to be at the side of the person you have fallen in love with, then I suppose it might have been someone on the Rocks Pirates. So,
okay,
not gonna,
vague.
Yeah, not going to tell us any more than that. Although I don't know, I don't remember. I thought they were like fighting over Whitebeard in that big panel where because it was her and Stussy. So, you know, that could be another skill issue as far as reading comprehension goes, because I seem to remember it being pretty clear. But yeah, so our next SBS segment here have a very cute header of Gear 5 Luffy. He's punching through SBS. He's got a little like leprechaun bowler hat for some reason. I don't know where that came from. But
because he needed a little hat.
I guess.
Oh yeah, a different hat.
The Fighting Irish. So our question
is that the pose he's doing? Right? Don't they?
No, the Fighting Irish has like his curly hands up.
Yeah,
okay.
he's got his dukes up. Yeah, Luffy's actually throwing the punch here. So our question here is, speaking of, I guess, characters who are shown off in that flashback. This is about Shiki, the Golden Lion. So now that we have seen Shiki, the Golden Lion in the manga, does that mean that the movie Strong World is officially part of the canon timeline? So yes, it's true. Japan does have insufferable nerds as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I think Oda actually has a really interesting answer to this. So he has a nice long answer here. So he says, okay, so, you know, most of the movies, like if you really want to force them into the timeline somewhere, somehow, you can do that, I suppose. However, or I could have done that. However, doing so would mean that watching the movie then becomes obligatory to understand, the timeline of the events of the story. And so, yeah, he says, I don't really connect them to the main story for that reason. However, in the case of Strong World specifically, that was the movie that I wrote. I came up with the story myself. And so basically what happened is I had created the character of Shiki in order to use him in the story. And instead, I simply moved him to the movie. I used him up on the movie instead. So he was already there. He already existed in the world of One Piece in Oda's head. But if I had not used him in the movie, then I would not have given Shiki the float fruit powers, because I have a personal rule. He has an internal rule that he tries not to include anything that has too few, anything that involves flight that has too few limitations on what that flight is. So like Buggy can fly, but he has to be within a certain radius of his feet and stuff. His feet have to be on the ground. But Shiki doesn't have that. He can just kind of pretty much fly or float or do whatever he wants. So Oda didn't want to use that as a character trait in the original story. Because it is a pirate manga, he wants to kind of hold characters within certain bounds. But he did use him. He did use that in the movie, and here he is. He has now come back to roost in the story, in the canon story of the manga as well. Lol. And then he says, "It is a weird." He says, "I will admit, it is a weird case of reverse importation." So, yeah, that's interesting note, because I do feel like the one character that he has done that with is Shiki, where he referenced him directly in the manga, but even like the characters in what's his name, Zephyr from Film Z, and all the I guess he did draw like Uta's outline in.
I was gonna say
that's probably the closest thing he's done.
I feel like Uta's been the one that's like kind of been inserted a lot more, because even like they had the tie-ins and stuff, but it's always to me like thinking of him as like a separate entity. So it is interesting to like use that, but it's nice to know that like he wrote that one and he's like had this character meant for his story, and then like took him away. It's like no, shove him here for a minute. You can kind of like grab him back. Yeah,
I mean it makes a good case for Shiki being special or different from the other characters, since he was already planned. But interesting stuff. Our next question is about Bonnie's powers. That she has the HH fruit with the ability to manipulate her own age and other people's ages. Does that mean that she can keep her age permanently young and therefore never die of old age? And Oda says, you'd think that, wouldn't you? However, reading comprehension skill issue in chapter 1072.
Oda said open the schools.
No, this
He
SBS,
really did.
Oda's just like, I am so tired of these questions. I am going to make you.
Yeah, he is whipping those chalkboard erasers at these kids.
He is ripping wigs off left and right.
He's like, I know you're not reading the manga. You're reading the story summary posts on twitter.com.
If you recall, in chapter 1072, Bonnie did say it does not have infinite power on living organisms. So yes, it will wear off eventually. And that was, she said that to Vegapunk when she turned him into a little baby Vegapunk, and he was complaining about that. So that was her reassuring him that the power will wear off eventually. And lastly, another question about powers. Oda Sensei can Kuma only use his paw fruit powers to send people to places that he has been himself? And Oda says, yes, that is right. Because Kuma in the past, he went on a little world tour of his own. So yeah, it's video game fast travel rules. You have to go to the place first before you can fast travel to it.
Oh man, Kuma's got like a good Kuma's tours would be the best little side thing where it's like you go to him and just like he's like, you need to go visit this area.
Yeah, when he's done being like a mass weapon, he's gonna retire.
A
be travel
WMD,
agent. Yeah,
Yeah, he's just a
gonna be
travel
like,
agent.
Oh,
Number
you want
one
to go to Bali this weekend? Well, I guess we got to go together because I haven't been there yet.
I don't know. Not to be a joy kill, but that probably doesn't feel very good to get like paw ported to like another continent.
Yeah, but it's like flying spirit. It's the cheapest option.
Yeah, it is.
Like when he
It's
tells
shaking
me
around.
it's $30 to go cross country, I'm gonna say, all right, whatever.
Yeah, sometimes you appear without your pancreas, but that's the risk that you take when you fly Air Kuma.
You fly Air Kuma, you get like it's kind of like in a 4X, like I was like seeing something in 4D experience. You're getting like shaken about. And then you think you're gonna die halfway through it.
I'd like to imagine he's like getting ready to send someone somewhere, and he's in his little office. He's like, okay, you want to go to the Turks and Caicos or whatever, and then as he's getting ready to smack him across the globe, he kind of looks and is like, oh, that's a nice poster of Greece, and sends him to the wrong place.
No, you ever just want to get like progressively like bitch slapped by Kuma, but then at least it sends you somewhere nice.
Oh no, yeah, he's in the bedroom and he's like, I really rocked your world across the world.
Sure,
That's
man.
what we did to Jimmy. Okay, I'm losing it. It's fine. Fuck you.
All right, I do believe we have a new member to the podcast here. If he
Somebody
is,
heard us making fun of people who have bad reading comprehension and had to jump in.
Ouch. I don't know if he's
Hi, this is Steve. It's my first time.
immediately spoke up.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Steve. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Steve, formerly known as Sanji is cool. No, that's Sanji's cool.
Playing the hits.
Okay.
And I have bad reading comprehension.
No, I wasn't saying you do. I was saying
Yes, you were.
Yes, you were.
Yes, you
That's
were.
not what
Didn't
I
you
was
literally just say, speaking of bad
Delaney-
reading
I
Delaney,
comprehension?
roll the
said
tape
you
back.
would
Delaney, roll the
enjoy
tape back.
talking about people
Delaney-
who have bad reading comprehension.
No,
you
here you
love
go.
to complain about stupid people.
This is where we go in. And
I-
we have Delaney cut the clip and put it in right there.
Delaney, roll that beautiful bean footage.
All Fred Jones had to say was,
Somebody heard us making fun of people who have bad reading comprehension.
I don't love complaining about stupid people. It's like it has to be done sometimes,
It
unfortunately.
does happen.
What did I miss? Just give me the what did
wait.
people
You missed
misunderstand
the
about
hot,
One Piece now?
pirate boa empress lady, Amazon Lily.
Oh yeah, the one
Wait.
before Hancock.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, Steven, what did
Luffy's
you say
mom.
about?
We didn't even get to talk about how everybody was saying it was Luffy's mom.
Every new woman is like Luffy's mom.
Luffy's mom.
No,
She's
no,
got.
Wow,
no.
this-
Wait, we
Yeah, I
already
guess
know
she's
this.
black hair.
Is this
Guys,
woman eating a meal?
it's
Luffy
Crocodile.
eats meals.
Crocodile is Luffy's mom. We've
Yeah, well-
established it. Put like that is to rest. That is the mom.
It's an older meme, but it checks out.
Shut up.
It all listen. It all tracks. The lines are connecting. But what did you? I'm trying to think of what you said about the Steven. You said about the cover image with Luffy. I take it a
Yeah.
pound.
POV, you're getting pounded by Gear 5 Luffy.
That's
Yeah,
the-
that's
so-
what you have to draw.
Yeah, so jot that down, Steve, because that's the episode.
Yeah, can you draw Gear 5 Luffy pounding you for the episode image?
you're fired, Luffy taking you to Pound Town.
You know, I bend over backwards for this podcast as is.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Well, you're
I
gonna
bet
bend
you
over
do.
backwards for Luffy because he's taking you to Pound Town.
Yeah, what's the difference now?
Yeah, you should be
Didn't
so
we-
lucky.
Steven, didn't we already name an episode Pound Town?
Somebody
after,
got taken
you
to
know,
Pound Town. That's true.
Pound
Luffy's
got
about
taken to Pound Town.
Luffy's about to take you to
Right.
Pound Town, though, so it's different.
I don't have to draw anything. We could just use that ugly image of Luffy from Fishman Island in the anime as an episode image. We could just do that.
Unprofessionalism on display.
Yeah.
Wow. Go ahead, Steven, as a professional member of this podcast.
All right. Yeah, I got to get things under control here. So our next SBS segment, we have a header that is all of the the four main giants that we know and love: Dorian Brogy and Oimo and Kashi, and they're too big to be contained by the frame of this illustration. So that's a nice fun one. Although
this is a fun one. I like this one.
I can't tell. I guess. Oh, I guess that their arms are kind of making S's to do the SBS, but it's a very abstract looking representation of the letters. Anyways,
he's done 100 volumes of these. They're allowed to get a little creative with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of these are submitted by readers, so
yeah.
And this is definitely a frequent contributor who does a lot of these. So, cool one. Our first question is for Frankie, and it says, so I've noticed they have Vega Cola in Egghead. So what does it taste like? Can you give us a review? What's that YouTube kid, the pencil neck kid who does all the
review bro.
Review
bra.
Review bra, yeah. Give us a review bra, Frankie. And Frankie's response is, you can just look at the Japanese. You already know it. He's saying super. And Oda says, okay, so what he's trying to say there is, it tastes like a blossoming apple and lemon scent, sharpened with ginger, and there's extract of ashwagandha and ginkgo biloba that is just activating my brain, and the ideas just won't stop coming. That's what he's saying. So that's your Vega Cola for you. Sounds good to me.
That's me when I drink a yerb.
Listen, I'm still convinced it could be like the Panera Supercharged lemonade.
The one that kills you.
The one that kills you.
Yeah.
That's what the clicking claw force drink in Alabasta. Thank you. The dead silence from the others, like it goes
you
to
didn't,
show.
You didn't even give us a second to laugh. Even if I got the joke, you didn't give me a second.
It's just like there's so many people that like either forget that happens or doesn't even think that's in like the manga canon,
right.
And it existed.
Yeah, you sip your Panera and you have 1 page to live before he kills you. Oh man, I love that.
I'm not drawing the clicking claw force. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
You're drawing Luffy Pound Town. We've established it's moving on.
Our next question is about Cypher Pole. So it's asking, speaking of the flashback for Kuma, Nurse Alpha from Cypher Pole 8, is she a family member of Khalifa? And also, CP9 was famously said to be a not a publicly known organization. They were a secret organization. Is CP0 public knowledge? And Oda says, Alpha is Khalifa's little sister. So no real surprise there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I mean, they have very similar names. So 22 years ago in CP9, there was an agent named Lasky who, if you recall, and they have a nice little picture of them. He's kind of a zaddy looking guy with the long blonde hair and an earring and little goatee.
Mm-hmm.
And Lasky is their father. Cypher Pole, this is funny. Okay, Cypher Pole. He says. Basically, the members of Cypher Pole are all these spies and intelligence agents. They are all orphans who were trained up to be elite spies, basically. So they don't have any family members that can be used as leverage. He says this is a rare case, which is funny because Spandam and Spandine were father and son, and they were in Cypher Pull as well. So I feel like immediately, if that was the intention for Cypher Pull, like he's already given us 2 whole families within Cypher Pull. So not doing a great job of sending that message, Oda. But he does say, in fact, though, they are this family, Lasky, Khalifa, and Alpha, have almost no like actual family ties. They were raised separately because in the world of spycraft, emotion and love are weaknesses.
Yeah,
Jedi said the same thing.
I was gonna say that. Did we know that Cypherpol was like the Les Enfants Terribles program before this? is
fucking Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, is that new lore?
I don't know. I mean, they probably said something like that about Lucci because they talked about him being like a crazy murderous kid. So, they brought him into Cypherpol.
I got all the recessive jobs.
Okay, that's the episode image. Please. Thank you.
What's the image?
The Rob Lucci and fucking everybody else. Never mind. Whatever.
What?
I give up.
I mean, you could have Rob Lucci as Liquid Snake. You could do that.
Yeah.
You could have Rob Lucci as Liquid Snake.
I was thinking of the Khalifa sisters. I already forgot the other one's name.
That'd be good too.
Our next question.
All right, hold on, Steven. One last thing I want to ask. Their father, was that... I forget, was that previously confirmed that was Khalifa's father?
I thought it was. I thought we did know that Khalifa had a father. So I think he just brought that up to explain that, Alpha is therefore obviously related to him as well.
Yeah, I have news for you guys about children. They always have fathers.
They're Tarib, as they say.
So our next question here is, so this one's kind of funny. So I'm trying to do this justice here. So it's basically saying like, hello, Oda, spelled with the wrong kanji. It's not actually Oda's kanji. And then it says like, in one day, I want to know how CP9 members join CP0. So I am writing this letter from France. Also, I pray for good luck or good fortune. And that comes from Catella Valentine. And so Oda's like, okay, so yeah, the translation is a little weird. The Japanese is a little strange, but I'll print it as is because that's the way it was sent to me. So
you said I'm going to let everyone else see your
truly drag them, France. Get owned.
Oda is being vicious.
I don't think he's being. I think it's.
Oh no,
just,
I know he's.
He
doesn't want to like change what the meeting is of like if that's what the person.
Yeah, and also I think sometimes it's like it's like when he has like the little kids who draw and so he shows off because it's like they put in some effort to try to do this.
Yeah. He said, "Get back in the Bastille, Frenchie. I've had enough." That's what I'm saying, actually.
So right. So the question was, how did the CP9 members get to join CP0? Which we have some of the pieces here, but he's going to go through it in order. So first of all, CP9 was defeated at Ennius Lobby. And then there is the cover page short stories, the CP9, what was it, off-duty report or whatever, where basically Spandam blames CP9 for failing. He accuses them of the crime of failing their mission, and so they have to run to the wind. They have to disappear. And then we see them going on their their little journey of training, trying to get stronger, and they do all that stuff that we see. Meanwhile, Spandam, through the authority and influence of his father, Spandine, somehow becomes commander of CP0. He literally says somehow he does that. And
Oscar Isaac size.
Yeah, Oscar. Then basically Lucci and the group, they team up with Spandine, so team up with Spandam's dad, to expose and stop an attempted takeover or an invasion between some major underworld figures, some mobsters, and a bunch of former level 6 prisoners, the escapees. So basically, they uncover this plot and they foil it and stop them from carrying it out. So this feat gets Lucci and the others accepted again as intelligence agents. They return to the fold now as CP0 members. Then Spandine falls sick, so he's no longer able to do the job, and therefore he loses all of his authority and influence and can no longer put his thumb on the scale, and Spandam is demoted to being Lucci's errand boy, which is what we see him as in the present when he's wearing his stupid bowler hat and he's like bowing and scraping to Lucci, which was I forget what scene that was from, but that was a funny one. So,
what, when we first see them together?
No, when we see Spandam interacting with Lucci when Lucci is post CP9. And he's like, "Oh yeah, yes sir, yes you're right about that, boss." He says to him.
I think Film Gold might have beat out, or maybe it was around the same time. Oh no, wait, because Film Gold was 2016, right? We see them at the end of Dressrosa.
Okay, yeah. In the panel, they're talking about the revolutionaries, and that's what the conversation is about. So I don't recall the scene, and it's not marked here. So
I would just like to never see Spandam ever again.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'd say more Spandam, please. I can't get enough of that guy.
Waiter, more Spandam, please.
No,
you saying a Spandam fried this rice?
Shut up. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I hate it here.
All right. Our next SBS, we have an adorable header here of the pizza party from Makuma's flashback, where young Bonnie is eating pizza with Sentomaru and Kizaru and Vegapunk and Kuma. And they're just having a great time eating this pizza. Good for them.
Wish that was me. We get in on that.
Have you ever eaten a pizza like with 3 other people all holding it at the same time?
I think we should try this in New York. I think when we all meet up in New York, this is how
No
you eat New
pizzas
York.
look like that.
In New York, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. I've been there.
You live in LA. You don't know anything.
They look
He's
like
from New York.
No, he's not.
They look like that before you actually bake the dough. That's what this is stretched all the hell out. That's very weird. All right. So our question here is about Fujitora. It is about Fujitora's sword. What is the name of the sword and what is its rank among these swords? And so what it says, yes, okay. Sorry to keep you waiting on this one, since I'm sure there were a million questions about this all the way back to Dressrosa. So it is one of the Saijo o Wazamono, which is the supreme grade swords. It's the highest rank of swords, which I think there were like 21 of them or so, or was that the middle grade? I forget. Yeah, it's one of the top ones. The name is Yakuza Kasen, and that means, so Yakuza obviously is Yakuza. And Kasen means like line of fire, and that could be like a strategic like battle line of fire, or it could be like a live wire sort of thing. Not really sure which what intended meaning it is, but Yakuza Kasen is the name, and it of course is like a sort of it's a concealed sword. It is hidden inside of his walking stick. It is a Suguha, or a straight blade, and it is also, what do they call, a Kirihazukuri, which means I had to look this up. So like if you do a cross section and you're looking at like the thin part of the sword, like if it's pointed straight at you and you're looking at the outline that way. What that means is that the flat sides of the sword come down, and then before they get to the point, they like turn at a 30-degree angle or something, and then come together into a point. So they don't have a smooth they don't get honed down into a point. There's like the flat of the blade, and then there's kind of an edge that goes inward until it hits the point. So that's the way it looks on a cross section, and it was made by the famous blacksmith of Wano, Fugetsu Kisaburo, which that's not a character that we know, but Fugetsu was one of the daimyo clans that I think they were the ones that got wiped out by the Kurozumis previously by Orochi. So there you go. That's the background of Fujitora's sword. Next, we have some clearinghouse of information about Bonnie's crew, since we did see them in the flashback as well. So in chapter 1096, when Kuma was growing up as a little kid, there were 2 kids who were throwing stones at him, and the one who has the 10-gallon hat and the freckles, he seems to be on Bonnie's crew right now. Is that the same person? And Oda says, yes, let's go back and look at Bonnie's introduction scene all the way back in Sabaudi. This is, of course, the infamous spread eagle panel where she is chowing down on all the food and all of her crew is there. And we see a bunch of faces in the background that are rather distinctive, and these did get shown in the flashback at various points. And their names, we do know some of these names. The guy with the freckles and the cowboy hat is named Gyogyo, which we definitely heard before. And the one with the faux hawk is Tots. And I don't think we saw these other 2 guys before. There's the one who has like a little tuft of hair on top of his head. He kind of looks like Bert. And his name is Part. That actually, now that I say that, it might literally be Pert, like a play on Bert. And then the last guy with
Pert and Ernie.
Yeah, exactly. The last guy with the mustache and the curly hair is named Potato, which is a great name. I mean, there are no lime juice and bong punch and all those, but they're not bad.
Nothing will beat lime juice.
Yeah.
It's like.
And so then he gives the story here, which I think is another thing that, like, I think you can kind of put it together, but it's a nice little encapsulation of the story. So all these guys appear in the Sorbet Kingdom in the flashback, and we also see them when we see Ginny hanging around. We do see them kind of blushing, like they got crushed on Ginny as well. So basically, all of the members of the Bonnie Pirates were all Kuma's friends from back in the day. They're all a bunch of fishermen from the area who are real strong, and they have been watching over Bonnie's growth and maturation. They've seen her growing up.
Aww.
And she's basically like a daughter to them, and so they'll do everything they can to protect her. So basically what happened with Bonnie in the present day is we start off, she was temporarily captured by Akainu. We did see that. Then she escaped, and rather than meeting up with Gyogyo and the rest again, she went off on a solo quest to find her father. She saw him when she was hiding out in Marijoa. Remember, that's when we saw her like disguise herself as Queen Connie. Then she escaped on the ship for the Tajin Kingdom. That was the one that was based on Morocco, and they had like Casablanca jokes. After that, she slipped onto a government ship, which got close to Egghead when it crashed or it sank, I should say. And that is when Luffy and the gang saved her. And then, she winds up on Egghead with them and is like, I'm going to kill Vegapunk. So that's basically what happens to bring her to Egghead today. So yeah, it's been a long time since she's been with her crew. That's kind of sad, but hopefully we'll get to see a happy reunion.
I think it's like a very like kind of like wholesome crew because it is like her other parents taking care of her and like taking her on this trip.
Yeah, a bunch of surrogate parents.
Like, do they know that she's okay?
Yeah,
like,
all of her uncles.
Right.
The uncle pirates. Yeah. Our last question here is about Saint Marcus Mars, who is the tallest of the elders. It says, so is the reason that Saint Marcus Mars always standing up in those group shots of the 5 elders, is that because he forgot his homework and the teacher told him to stand up and stand there as punishment? Which is a thing that they do in Japan. In addition to like go and stand out in the hallway. That's another classic punishment. And so Oda's like, wait, really? It's like, how did you notice that? Why would you notice something like that? And he's like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother to look it up to see if that's true or not. Let's just say, yes, he is. That's why. So there you go. Marcus Mars, he's always standing because he's being punished for forgetting his homework. Yeah. All right. And we have one more section of SBS here. Very adorable header illustration, clearly drawn by a child, like in pencil. It looks like a big banner with a very happy Chopper and SBS with some broccoli. There's something surrounding it. It is very cute looking. And our first question, you can see the little illustration here of Emu's eye, very, very ominous. And it says, is Emu's design based off of the looks that all of the women give to SBS when he tells dirty jokes in the SBS, or to Oda in the SBS? You know what I mean. And Oda's response is like, ooh, wow, what happened to summer? I thought Japan was supposed to have a summer. Like it's just, it's really chilly now all of a sudden for some reason. So yeah, he's feeling the pressure of the evil eye.
Is he saying like, is Emo just judging us?
Yeah, Emo's judging Oda specifically.
This is how I look at Oda when I see him change his cover illustration from an adorable fucking playing with a doll-sized replica of the Mary to the most like gooner shit ever. That's how I look at him.
This is the biggest side eye ever. It's like, Oda.
Yeah.
All right, and our next question is, hey, you want me to tell you Sanadachi's 3 sizes? And Oda's like, hell no, absolutely not. He's like, the reason it's so chilly here is because of you guys. So he's blaming the people sending in the gross questions. And our next one, he's just in between all of the dirty jokes. He slips this in here. So in chapter 1100, there is a conversation between Kuma and Saint Saturn. If you remember this is about when Kuma was recruited to join the 7 Warlords. They have a conversation about the member of the 7 Warlords at the time that had been defeated by Ace. So who was that? And Oda says here, and I remember talking about this, and like I literally could not tell if he invented this character or that he made a mistake and he was referencing like some other 7 Warlord, like someone we already knew about, and got the context mixed up. But no, so he's explaining here. It is a real character. His name is Hanafuda, and he seems to be plotting something. He likes collecting Zoan, particularly ancient Zoan devil fruits, and he seems to be up to something. But now we'll never know what that is because Ace beat him. His height is 514 centimeters, so that's probably like 17 or 18 feet or something like that.
A normal One Piece height.
Yeah. And his nickname or his epithet is the Lizard King. And so here's this design, and Oda busted out the most fan art ass design I have ever seen. This guy is so fucking
goes
extra.
hard.
Okay, Brodsky's in approval. We have one yay vote here.
Original character do not steal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Eustace Kid called. He wants his lower half back.
Yeah.
I love it's like he's got gauntlets, he's got a Reaper staff, which also has the ball and chain attached to it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with his shoulders.
He looks like a Guilty Gear character.
God, that's a lot of stuff to carry out. Also, I'm sorry. He is. Allow me to quote him here. What he says: "I am the Lizard King."
You can see the
I just
music.
think of that quote being like, "You don't even know my real name. I'm the fucking Lizard King." That's all I can think about. Is that entire monologue is just going through my head right now, and I'm like, "That's it. That's who
Ace, cut that out. Hanafuda, drink the water.
I don't know what's going on with his shoulders.
Yeah, he's got some weird shoulder pads going on.
I'm
it's
glad.
not as
I'm
much
glad
like-
this guy was defeated.
It's not as much as like a yay, as more of just like I think it's the Lizard King name. I'm just like, that's great. I love it.
No, you already said yay. You're already in approval.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, the shoulders.
Delaney, run the tape back.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of lying happening.
Yeah, and I feel like it's appropriate. So that I don't like his design also because I'm going to be honest here. Like I don't like this idea. I don't like this whole the thing that Oda invented a new character and retconned him into Ace's backstory because it's so awkward. And the thing about this, the reason it's one of those things that I was thinking about this. It's sort of like, you know, when people talk about if you ride the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland and you go down the elevator and they do all the optical illusion effects. And I've heard, I've never done this myself, but everybody says like, if you ever get the chance to like wait in the elevator and then take it back up, the way that all of the things like roll back into place is like, it's not like a reverse thing. It looks very bizarre and it completely breaks all of the illusion that the whole elevator goes in. I feel like this is the version of that where it's like, if you look backwards at when Ace first appeared, nothing makes sense if you try to include this in your interpretation, because the whole thing when we first see Ace and like people are reacting to Ace and stuff like that is in Alabasta. Is the whole thing of the story at that point in time is we're about to take on Crocodile, who is the first of the 7 warlords. And like the whole story has been building up to this. And like every random comment from people is like, oh my God, the 7 warlords are crazy. Like we can't mess with them. Like they're a nightmare. They're the strongest pirates around. And, that's just like a manga thing to add context to stuff. And now you have to like, okay, put in your mind when you see these scenes is like not a single person at any point, at any time in the story ever mentions that Ace is famous because he beat a member of the 7 warlords, which I feel like would be like the first thing people would say about a character in One Piece if they did something like that. And it just feels very shoehorned in.
Yeah, why didn't he help out fight Crocodile? He could have turned Crocodile into like a window or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean the power scaling is clear. Like if Ace is better than a 7 warlord, then he should easily clear Crocodile.
And it insinuates that the warlord system was always incredibly flawed. Not that it was it's like, no, this was great, but then
right.
Luffy had to ruin it. But it's like, oh, really? They only got skeptical after, Crocodile? It's always like, and was it back in Marineford when it was mentioned that Ace was offered the warlord role?
I think that's right, yeah.
Okay. So.
Trying to like recall my
if not after that,
yeah,
your knowledge.
It's like at this point the majority of Ace's story has been told posthumously. So there's a lot of okay. And I don't know if there's any other further comments about Hanafuda, the Lizard King here.
I think you put it best. It just kind of,
It's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does kind of make things feel less special. And
I'm rejecting it.
It's like I close my.
does
I
he have
close
like a
my
lizard?
eyes.
does he have a mustache or
That looks
jagged teeth?
Yeah, he looks like he has the teeth like the gross guy from Lord of the Rings, like the mouth.
Sauron?
Yeah. No, the
No,
mouthpiece
the-
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so edgelord that I think it's funny that he got beaten by
It
Ace.
is-
Hopefully he
yeah,
just got
I mean-
one-shotted.
That's the positive way to look at it, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm the Lizard King. I'm gonna start using that whenever I just to describe things. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I don't know. This chapter was very Lizard King coded. I'm sorry.
Is that like the new slang word? If you were like, I reject the narrative.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, okay, Oda, whatever.
Yeah, this guy was the original.
Oda really taking a page out of George Lucas. Huh?
This guy was the original King Lizard and the Gizzard Wizard.
Yeah. Except he's not even as cool.
No. So we do have a few more questions here. The first one, which I feel like I know what the response to this will be. The first one,
I
starts
see a
off.
picture of Nami, so I'm already worried.
No, this is before that. So the
Okay.
the next one here is it starts off with a command: draw men's butts. And he says,
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Says, oh,
Yes.
sorry, excuse me. Please, if you would be so good, do that. And then like bow, gets down on hands and knees to bow.
The
got my question.
Fujoshis!
Oda got my question.
Steve, can the episode image be a picture of Oda drawing Sanji's butt?
No, not Sanji's killer's butt.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, give us a response.
The rest of this question is, if you could please draw the male butts of all of the Straw Hat crew. So only Straw Hats.
Hey, Zoro's got a nice ass, so I mean, I'm still winning.
And then
How do we know? He doesn't draw his butt.
Oda's buzzkill answer here is, I'm not drawing that. I'm not interested.
Oda, mark your days. I'm coming for you.
Kill him! I had to hold back. He's a coward. It's official.
Yeah, that's true.
That's coward behavior.
The entirety of Egghead Island, I've been subjected to ass. Just give me Sanji's ass just once. It can be a gag. Like, I don't know.
Did he draw? I think he drew some butts in the Alabasta in the bath scene, right? Because there was like Luffy and Usopp were running around and jumping in the bath and stuff.
I mean, when you say ass, you mean lack thereof.
Yeah,
but if I have to see Nami in the like egghead diaper underwear,
the thing
do
is,
it to Usopp.
the thing
Show
is,
me the
like
ass.
he's been drawing everybody really beefy lately. Like all the Straw Hats have gotten like a very muscular glow up. So I do feel like he would do a lot. It would be a lot juicier nowadays.
Yeah, yes. I mean, like I got so many. Okay, so all of the
They're
One Piece figures
bulking.
I have. If you look at the ass of every male figure, there is no ass. It is gone. It is like a ghost town back there on every figure.
You're just talking about the men?
Yes.
I mean, as we all are aware, Egghead was the butt arc for sure.
But not of the
But his
men.
butt-
For that, it was freaking International House of Pancakes.
Yeah, that is kind of
But
true.
I do like that we can follow One Piece as a mark of fashion and body type trends across the years, as he was really, when heroin chic was in its full swing, Oda was like, okay, here's Nami now.
Mhm.
Listen, the One
Boobies,
Piece
and now
is
he's
not
like, shit, the kid's like ass. All right,
Listen,
let me
the
pivot.
true One Piece is the men's ass. We lost along the
yeah,
way. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
I fucking.
Mhm.
I mean, at least he put Zoro in that like cat suit. So
Yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah.
done a lot to Zoro, especially in like, but like, Zoro still doesn't
Yes.
have like a plump ass for all the squats that man does. Where is
That
the
is
cake?
true.
yeah. I should be able to like rest a cup on it. He should be able to be doing fourth sword style by now.
We,
Well, yeah, force it.
we had to preemptively kick Josh off this podcast so he couldn't comment about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh left right before the men ass question.
Yeah, exactly.
He saw it coming.
I-
All right. Last question.
Anyway, yeah, give me the Nami
Let's
one.
get through it. So this question, of course, from Sanadachi. He says, I've noticed, I can't believe that this one, I could swear that he had already done this question before. I noticed that Nami has 2 switches on her chest. What do these switches do?
I will blow you up with my mind.
I'm going to kill him.
But it does this little like, oh yeah, now this is what I can get into. Yeah, I would gladly, Sanada! And then it's like, if it wasn't for you, it's getting cold again. Is it winter? Oh, the stairs, the women's stairs. Okay, we're done. We're done. See you in the next SBS.
Dodging my question, Oda.
I hate him.
It's me just like, why did the last question have to be about men's ass? And he's like, no, heart emoji.
No.
Yes, and then the usual booby question.
Can you tell me about this image that you have linked?
So I did take some extra pictures for people to look. So normally I just kind of skip over the Usopp Gallery Pirates, even though there's always great drawings in it, including some very funny ones and stuff. But I did want to highlight 2 in particular that I really liked. One of which is it's the 9 Straw Hats prior to Jinbei, because I don't think Oda has done this for Jinbei yet. It's the 9 Straw Hats in their like bad alternate future form, just all together, and it's pretty amazing when you see them all lined up like this.
It's quite scary, actually.
Yeah, I love it. But they're all very happy, so they're doing all right. And then the other one that I selected is a drawing of Aiden as Helmeppo doing his pose with the teddy bear covering his junk, and it is designed like a recruitment poster. So it's saying like Marines wanted. You will help. You can help guide or protect the peace of tomorrow.
I need that in high res so we can send that to Aiden.
Yeah.
This is why Brodsky had to be on the show.
Yeah. This is what recruited me to liking Helmeppo. So like right there.
Yeah, it's funny because like I feel like they have accepted some fan art of the live action stuff, but to see a very memeable thing like this show up in the volume itself is a very nice shout out.
Oda had to sign off on that ass, so we got the confirmation.
Yeah. There's our ass, I guess.
That's what we get.
Only in the live action will Oda allow men's bare ass.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
But
anyway.
Yep, I think that will do it. We get the usual ads and assorted stuff for all the other products in Japan in the back following that. But of course, none of that will appear in the English volumes anyway, so they're just ads. But that will do it for our manga recap of volume 109. Thanks for joining me on this little adventure.
Yeah, as always.
Can you help us pen a letter to Oda as a petition to petition him for ass? I think if he sees how many people need it, he'll change his mind.
Just like I'll make a poll on Twitter. Let's do it for the podcast. Sorry, Zach, don't listen to this part.
I mean, I think he's publicly throwing down the gauntlet. Like the challenge should be accepted by all One Piece fans now to overwhelm him with their letters.
I think he wants us to do it ourselves. So what he's saying is, I don't want to draw it, but you guys should go out there en masse
the
and
real
start
experts.
Drawing.
But we already do.
Yeah,
I know he
that's
wants us to the numbers are dwindling. He wants to rev it up.
So we have to tag
you,
Oda.
listener, at the podcast with your best drawing of Zoro's ass.
Show
One
me your
Piece
fourth sword style.
Yeah.
One Piece fans, I'm asking you again.
I am no longer asking.
Yeah.
You must draw men's ass. We must show Oda.
Yeah.
All right. I think that'll do it. Well, let's move on to the next segment.
This is the anime recap for episode 1113, Run Koby, a desperate escape strategy. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have the Pokemon Company's own Steve Yurko.
Darn. I don't know. Coming soon. Omega Steve and Alpha Yurko.
Yeah, why'd you put all those bugs in Gen 9?
Well, where to begin? We just want your money. And we want something out in the holiday season. And we just want money.
I see.
Is Gen 9 Sword and Shield, or is that Scarlet and Violet?
Scarlet and Violet.
Okay.
Although Gen 8 wasn't super pretty either.
Nope. I've talked about this in other places, but yeah, I have a lot of grievances with current Pokemon games. It's yeah, like they're still kind of they have their moments, but I don't know if it's just me being older and jaded, but I feel like I feel like these could be a lot more polished, and I don't think I'm alone.
And this is the guy who's running the company saying this.
Wow. Oh, they're gonna the board's gonna have my head tomorrow.
All right. Well, more importantly, we are here to talk about One Piece.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oops.
So our episode opens with a fairly moody-looking sequence of Perona infiltrating a jail cell on the Japanese name of this island is Hachinosu.
Because they were going with full lead, and I think this is the first episode they made the switch to Beehive.
Has Crunchyroll been saying full lead?
I'm pretty sure because you know what, this kind of feels in line with how I pointed out recently. It's like, oh, they're calling him Jinbei now in the subtitles instead of Jinbei.
True. Yeah, I know Joey in our podcast group chat was sharing the trivia about the name. Like, it's supposed to simultaneously be like a beehive with like pirates swarming out of it, but it's also a euphemism for something being riddled with bullets.
Dare I ask, what do you like better?
I don't know. I feel like this is one of those, like, Oda's only really thinking about the Japanese audience.
Right. Because when you adapt it, I think full lead is better. Yeah, of course, this is something, I don't know. I cringe more and more at the phrase lost in translation these days. But it is kind of something, it's like, all right, this is, you know, this is a Japanese word or phrase that has like kind of, it's like a double entendre, you know, it's double meaning, I should say.
Yeah,
so
in English we need to start introducing more, you know, like bee-related bullet euphemisms.
Agree, but for now, I don't know. Full lead it feels more, you know, swashbuckling to me, you know, in this pirate story. This island filled with very, I would say, your store brand pirates, you know.
So this opening sequence I know this has a cut from podcast friend Jose Reboledo.
Oh yeah, Jose.
Hold on, I'm gonna do a second take of his name
Sure.
here, just to make sure. Reboledo, okay. And I know that this Perona sequence has a cut from, you know, podcast friend Jose Robledo.
Yeah, Jose. Yeah, good to see him on the show again. On this show, not the podcast.
Yeah, the example cut I saw him sharing was the wide shot of like the pirates on like one side of the frame with like the lantern light, And then like Perona's shadow light show effects coming out from the other side. And then the colors, like the compositing, like starts to feel very like how Film Red was just sort of slapping color filters onto everything.
Mm-hmm.
So she uses her negative hollows to make the guards depressed. And so they're all cowering in the corner like, oh, I wish I was just living in jail forever. Blah, blah. This is a very cool cut of animation of Perona like twirling the key ring around her wrist. Like it starts on her finger and then she kind of like rolls it up to her arm.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And then elsewhere in the prison, we see Koby is getting some exercise in. He's doing like standing push-ups with his like legs all the way up in the air, using the ball and chain as a weight. So he's, making good use of his time in jail.
God, what a Chad.
Perona startles him and he like tumbles over and he comes, he lifts his head back up and he's got his glasses on. So he looks like a big dork. And Perona is like, oh, I recognize you. I will help you out of here, but I want you to help me free Gecko Moria. And Koby seems kind of torn on the idea of assisting pirates while he is a Marine. But, he's gripping the bars. He's thinking about it. And so the pirates outside, they're all talking amongst each other. They're all getting excited about turning, Koby the hero into Cross Guild, because Cross Guild has put out bounties for Marines and whatnot, and Koby is a 5-star reward. So that means that whoever turns them in will receive 5 treasure chests, and the chests are estimated to be like around 100 million each. So I wonder like how generous that around is in practice.
Yeah.
So I like to imagine that like their gift, like I like to imagine the treasure chests are like kind of like loot crates, like.
Oh no!
Like they're just sort of a vague suggestion of value.
I've gotten a Terminator Genesis keychain in one of them. You gotta be careful. Not all crates are created equal.
But then we see Koby's running with his ball and chain in hand, and a big crowd of other prisoners following behind.
I didn't know Hell Meppo was there.
What'd you say?
You said the old ball and chain.
Oh, because they're married. I got it.
Yeah. Well, can't win them all here.
So Koby's helping the other like escaped slaves. They keep calling them. They're like prisoner slaves, work labor. And the big skull of the island that makes up the main shape of the island. It's like a cartoon skull mountain thing. It's moving and it's talking and it's like looking around because the island itself is Avalo Pizarro. And while Koby is agreeing to kind of separate from his group and serve as bait for the other escapees, this kind of transitions us into a rundown of the various Blackbeard pirates who are holding the fort. Like up in the top of the I don't know, it's like a mountain, it's like a castle, it's like the skull is doing a lot of work.
It's
here.
a big play set, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I would love to own this toy. I'm sure it has a bunch of trap doors and like catapults and stuff.
Watching from above we have Shiryu of the Rain, who's the wielder of the clear fruit, formerly Absalom's fruit. He's there shooting the shit with as I said before, Avalo Pizarro, the corrupt king, who has the Isle fruit. So he's an island man, which I guess is just like the Picas fruit again.
And I forget if Oda has explained the differences before.
I mean, like we know that there's fruits that are effectively just bigger versions of other fruits.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the Isle fruit is the better version of the stone fruit. Vasco Shot, the heavy drinker, joins the conversation on a bubble. I guess they got like Sabodi bubbles. He's got the glug glug fruit, so he's a booze man.
This has got to be related to his powers, I guess, the bubbles.
And sleeping off to the side of the giant skull is almost exactly as big as the skull. It's San Juan Wolf, the giant battleship wielder of the huge fruit. So like I always liked thinking he was just big for a giant.
He might have been. I don't know. It's because I know we saw him right before the time skip when Blackbeard like confronted Bonnie. I'm pretty sure we saw San Juan Wolf in the water.
Yes, but is he like just so big that he can't drown, or what?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, it's hard to say when exactly because a lot of these powers, I have to admit, it's very convenient that they fit the quirks or the gimmicks of some of these guys. So I can't help but wonder if they had these before or after the Blackbeard pirates started stealing devil fruits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. These are definitely, these seem like the big fruits that Blackbeard would want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just like so self-explanatory in their usage, except for the glug glug fruit. I don't know much about that one.
I have no idea what that entails.
But yeah, Koby, he's trying to be covert on this island of pirates who all seem to know exactly where he is. And he's running through alleyways. He runs into like a barb maiden's boobs. At first I thought it was going to be like Katarina Devon. But it's just some lady. And he keeps running, and that brings us to the eye catch of the episode. And we come back and we get a little flashback of a conversation that Koby and Blackbeard had while, Blackbeard had freshly captured him. He's saying like, I'm going to use you as a bargaining chip because I want to turn this island of mine, this pirate island, this this paradise of thieves. I want to turn it into a real country. It's going to be a government recognized kingdom, and I will be a king. But Koby is quick to inform Blackbeard that actually that's not going to work because I am a member of SWORD. And nobody in the room knows what SWORD is except for the former Marine Kuzan. And so he's able to step in.
Wrap it up. Forget it. You're not going to get anything for him.
Yeah, he like walks up to Koby, does like a big squat because he's so tall, and he like taps Koby on the head, and he's like, this kid's SWORD, so that means he is a government agent, but also not. When you're a member of SWORD, you're basically surrendering your Marine's honor, and you're effectively free to take any actions you deem necessary to fight the world government or to fight the four emperors. And if you do anything that crosses the line or looks bad for the government, then the government already has your resignation slip on hand so that they can disown you and deny that your actions had any association with them. So they get to pick and choose whether they approve your behavior or not.
Mm-hmm.
But Blackbeard is like, you know what? I'm going to try it anyway. Just because they can disown you doesn't mean they will. You are the hero after all. So they might they may care about keeping you on the payroll just for that. And in this conversation, like Blackbeard's face is getting like the animation is very interesting.
Oh yeah,
it's very twitchy and like rocking back and forth a lot.
I think this is definitely probably besides that beginning with Perona, this is probably where the animators got to play with the most.
Mm-hmm. And one of the lookouts with his telescope is looking out at the horizon, and there is a mysterious ship appearing, making its way towards the island Hachinosu. And so
Full of
down on the
bees.
ground now, there's some very strange like gray Hulk looking Marines. I almost thought they were like pacifistas at first, but they're getting like shot at and chopped up, and they just kind of like break apart like they're made of clay, like they're logias of some kind. But they all have this characteristic, so there's something else going on. And we see like some of the buildings, like there's a wide shot, and we see kind of the buildings shifting and grinding, and like I figure that has to do with Pizarro, but it's being the movement is being triggered by another Marine lady, Kujaku, who's the granddaughter of Tsuru. She's like whipping the buildings and making them move out of her way, I guess.
Very tan, very strawberry blonde.
Yeah, so she's doing her like Saudi-chan, just whipping guys, threatening to whip guys. There's kind of a vague, dominatrix. Not vague, it's pretty explicit.
Yeah, pretty on the nose.
There's a pretty explicit dominatrix vibe going on here. So the approaching ship in question is a Marine ship, and we got Tashigi calling out orders, and as they're preparing to land, I like this kind of like light blue kind of Hawaiian shirt look that Tashigi has here. And Garp is here as well, who's the most important figure. And Garp is arms crossed, cape floating in the wind, approaching the island, getting excited for this fight because he's a man on a mission. And Garp looks at the camera and says, "Wait for me, my beloved pupil," just as the "to be continued" card slams in. And then after the credits, we have Lilith and Edison talking about Koby. General thoughts on this episode, Steve?
Kind of like a slower paced episode, self-contained too. We didn't go to Egghead at all. I was thinking because there was no recap. I thought, they might do what they did previously, maybe like kind of integrate some like current happenings in Egghead, but nope, completely within the context of Beehive, Full Lead, whatever you prefer to call it. I do like a lot of the material they added in. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the Perona stuff was added. I forgot she was there. Honestly, I was just like, Perona, what's she doing here? Oh yeah, Moria. Because I always thought I thought it implied that Moria was teaming up with the Blackbeard pirates, but maybe not. But who knows? Because we haven't seen them, so that's left unresolved for now. But I enjoyed a lot of the character acting on Blackbeard for sure. A lot of really cool mood lighting in there as well. But other than that, it definitely was like a in between episode. It clearly looks like they're giving more time. They gave more time for next week's episode, which from what I've seen, looks like it's going to get insane. But I think it's still enjoyable for world building in the story at the moment and checking in on what else is going on. I think it's a fine episode.
Yeah, I definitely liked seeing some of the scenes that you don't spend a lot of time with in the manga, like Perona and Koby, and just sort of getting a more thorough sense of who is where at this point in the story, and yeah, they never go to Egghead, which makes the eye catch kind of jarring, where you're like, oh yeah, suddenly here's this reminder that we're in a sci-fi arc in an episode that has no references to it otherwise at all. And there's enough little standout moments that kind of pick up the slack for the fact that this is kind of a slower episode. Some parts are much more impressive looking than others. Otherwise, it's mostly, we're mostly biding our time for next week, which looks like that's going to be the crazy one. I thought this was a solid episode, a fine episode.
Indeed.
Anything else you'd like to say before we move on to the next segment, Steve?
I'm curious if it have any thoughts about Vegapunk's dub voice at all. I didn't get a chance to talk about it on the opening segment.
Oh, I like it. I mean, like, it's a pretty... I guess it's novel because they don't do accents that much in the One Piece stuff. Well, I guess they started doing it more. Like, I know that the Dressrosa characters had, like sort of a sort of Spanish accent.
Yeah, like nothing too
and
heavy.
Vegapunk's got the German, is it German or Austrian? Is Einstein Austrian?
Ooh.
I mean, they're fairly close to each other.
Right.
But, like, I've always liked... I just always thought Kent Williams had just a great voice in general. I always liked kind of just the tone of him speaking.
Yeah, he's been one of my favorites from, like, that, Dallas, pool of voice actors for the longest time. And he's been in One Piece a bunch, and he's always done, like, a really great job. And the fact like that once I saw that it was his name, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. It was weird. Like, I think like I wasn't even like expecting it to sound quite the way it does. It sounds very much like his elder Kai from Dragon Ball Z. And it sounds great. I'm really looking forward to hearing more of it.
Oh, and they're keeping the tongue.
Quasar.
Well, it's you can hear in his voice that his like tongue is being held while he's talking.
Oh, I gotta re-listen to that then.
Which I wonder what they're, because like if you're like holding it with your fingers, then you don't really even have room to talk. So like I wonder what they're doing to like get that.
What was nice was he was at near a Comic-Con to promote it, which I thought was really cool. Which is something I didn't think I would ever see with One Piece, but he did say proved to be a lot more difficult than he realized. So maybe that's what he was referring to.
Probably do the same thing that like Chris Sabat does for when he like Zoro has a sword in his mouth. Mm-hmm. He's like biting like his finger or a pen or something.
Which I always thought was a nice touch. I'm glad. I like that the dub does that.
Yeah, that's not in the Japanese.
No. Yeah, good stuff.
I think I am ready to move on.
So am I. Let's do it.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 828 for the week of Monday, July 29th, 2024. Thanks for joining us on this, a little shorter episode than usual, I think. We had a manga recap of Volume 109 and also an anime recap courtesy of Sam. You can find Sam at Lucky Chainsaw. And I want to also thank Josh, who had to leave early. You can find him on Twitter and elsewhere at Amons, AMONNS. But for everybody else, Vero, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ginkgo Crown Arts and everywhere else just at Ginkgo Crown.
Cool. And Brodsky, what about you?
Still on Twitter at Zach's favorite handle, the word double _ the number 0 _ snake, and everywhere else at Oive Brodsky.
Very nice. And Steve, of course, where can people find you?
You can find me at steveyurko.com, social media at steveyurko, also on the 4Kids Flashback podcast with Tara Sands, also on the Let's Play channel ProZD Plays Games over on YouTube, and I'll be tabling at Anime NYC as well with Vero as well. Vero will be there with me, and
So I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I got excited.
Get excited.
I'm gonna have my art there, and I've never done that before.
Yeah. I'm very excited.
Oh, cool.
So that.
I'll come bring y'all food.
Yay!
Very neat. Very neat. All right, and the podcast itself can be found, of course, at One Piece Podcast and pretty much whatever social media you want, please do join our Patreon at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. Like, rate, and review. We're also on YouTube, of course. If you're not watching us there, we have stuff there. And,
one
Apple
thing
Podcasts.
too, because Zach will slap us. Tickets are available for the live show too.
There you go.
Yeah.
At so the Sunday of ANYC. So once you're done spending all your money with Steve and Vero, come to the City Winery.
Come have a drink
and
come get drunk with us.
Yeah,
you know,
it'll be a good time.
That's the whole point of the show. Nothing else.
But I think I don't want to speak for anyone, but it seems like it's going to be at least in terms of from people from the podcast, it's going to be a big turnout at least.
Packed house.
I don't know how they're going to fit all of us on stage. I honestly think we're going to have to.
I think we should tag team. Yeah, like wrestling.
I think we should. It's like who's line.
I mean, it'll be fine. Last time I was the one running around with the microphone, being Brodsky in the distance. So I'll just do that again.
Look at a kid's table.
Yeah.
Yeah, Team Dark at the kids' table.
No, we need all the tallest people at the kids' table.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So, we should be back with a regular episode next week. The manga will return, and I have no reason to believe the anime will not be back next week as well. So, please do look forward to that. And One Piece Podcast at gmail.com, of course. You can send in your piece together stuff. Use tweet us on Twitter. Go to Reddit at these reddit.com/r/One Piece Podcast, or go on Discord. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, you can submit your questions in a special Patreon section of our Discord. So, send those in for next week, and we will see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Your name is Steven.
Bye.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my name is Steven.
And my name is Steve.
Bye-bye, guys.
That's Brodsky.
I'm also Steve. Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.